The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog was a surprise-free game that Sega released this year, and as a massive Sonic fan, you knew I just had to play it. Throughout the game, you play as Original the character as part of a train crew doing a murder mystery experience for a birthday party, it being Amy's birthday. Obviously, the game makes it clear right away that despite the title, Sonic isn't actually dead, as funny as that concept might be. You know, I kind of understand why they had to make that clear immediately. Saying that, Sonic does actually get hurt, as it turns out to be that Robotnik has taken over the train, with the train actually being a badnik, which, wow, that's actually, kind of interesting. We'll get back to that though. Now, throughout the game, you have to go clicking around the scene to find little clues here and there before you go to make your interrogation. Then when you go to click on the appropriate piece of evidence to back up your claims, you're taken to this little mini-game where you must collect enough rings to make the argument stick. Kind of like the little bonus stages that Sonic games used to have back in the day. You do that, and you win the argument. It might not fully scratch the itch of people hoping to have picked out the best dialogue choices, but for a free Sonic game, I feel it's a fun little addition to keep things interesting and keep it with that little Sonic flavour, rather than being just a free visual novel that just so happens to have Sonic characters in. There's a series of smaller mysteries throughout the game. You end up finding out that Shadow's elusiveness is because he's actually trying to secretly order tickets for Amy for a little surprise gift. And those are fun, if a bit easy, but saying that, the overall mystery of who actually took out Sonic was fun to speculate on, as I actually didn't know who did it. Then with the twist at the end of Robotnik showing up having taken over the train, I did not see this coming and I absolutely adored this. But as I said, the mini-game where you have to collect enough rings to solidify your argument is a definite fun part of the game. Not only does it help to keep that Sonic flavour going so it doesn't just feel like a generic visual novel, it of course can be quite fun. There are some moments throughout the game where I did seem to struggle a little bit with the controls, but never enough to say it's bad or anything, because if I ever lost, all I ever wanted to do was just try again. So any frustration is automatically cancelled out just because it was a fun little time killer. And I also loved the pixel art that the game went for this little mini game bit. Again, trying to capture that kind of retro aesthetic. I couldn't pinpoint it to any specific part of Sonic's history, like they meant the little handheld's called the Dream Gear, like a little reference to the Dreamcast and the Game Gear. However, I'd say that graphically, it reminds me more of that Sonic game on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Okay, I'll stop nerding out and I'll get back to the review. It's clear the writing team had a lot of fun doing this, and just overall, I loved the writing and story in this game. The writers seem to have a lot of fun with this. With the amount of jokes and banter the characters have, the game is full with fun little interactions. Tails especially is a highlight. With him by your side, he always said something that I found funny. Even if it wasn't always intentional, he was just a really great part of the experience. And the insert character is so empty-handed, it also lent to its own humour and charm. Along with many little jokes the game peppers up throughout here and there, such as Amy Rose apparently listening to a true crime podcast.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off. Her nose was cut off. Her eyeballs were plucked out. Her eyebrows were then waxed. Her tongue was sliced open. Her hair was cut off.
Honestly, that alone is worthy enough of a recommendation because the game's free and you get all this fun little writing in it. I just really enjoyed this. Visually as well, the game is so pretty. The Sonic characters generally can look really nice in 2D renders, and these are exceptional ones in my opinion. And I absolutely love the outfits everyone has in this game. Amy Rose's dress is so cute, Sonic is the dorkiest he's ever looked, Tails as a detective is so adorable, SPO is so gender, and to be honest, they need to make Knuckles' outfit just part of his regular design. It just works in my opinion. The different areas are also very good at looking distinct in their own way, making each part of the game easy to remember. Overall, for a free game, it's clear that they went out of their way to give a fun experience instead of just cheaping out. Of course, there are more substantial experiences out there that develop on the concepts that this game dabbles in, but for a free game, it's really not a bad use of your time if you enjoy Sonic like I do. So go ahead, go onto Steam and download it. I think it's still available.